Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the podcast. This is the Halloween podcast. Thank you for listening to us on the YouTubes or on the Anchor app, which the Anchor app, I think through the Anchor app, you could listen to us on Spotify. That's the Platitude Era on YouTube and Spotify and Anchor app. This is a very special episode. This is the Halloween episode. Now, what do you want to talk about first? Because there's so many different levels about the Halloween experience. You could go the route of movies, TV, costumes, candy. Where would you like to begin?
I'd like to say that the most memorable experiences I have with Halloween, aside from the trick-or-treating, but that was decades ago, is probably, waiting to see whatever my favorite Halloween movies are.
And what's your favorite Halloween movie?
Oh, no question, hands down, Back to the Future.
Is that Back to the Future Part 3?
Yeah, before Halloween was invented.
Because
I like to imagine what Halloween would have been like in the Old West.
Because Back to the Future 3 ends with the brother telling Marty, he says, hey, what's the matter, Marty? Did you come from a costume party?
Yeah, and that just gets me in that fall mood. Nothing feels better than, sipping on a pumpkin spice latte and watching the ending of Back to the Future 3.
Now, here's the thing, though. When you're talking about scary movies, the first movie that comes to everybody's mind, and I've seen other people talk about it on YouTube, it's the Halloween movie. It's named after the movie, and it's just one of those very suspenseful movies. What do you think about that? Halloween as the scary movie to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty much the original slasher film. It's probably what John Carpenter is most known for. Created probably the most iconic horror movie character, perhaps just any character in cinema, and wound up becoming known as the boogeyman himself in modern lingo. So, you got to give props to Halloween. When you compare it to any other horror movie of that era or, anything that's come before or after, Halloween kind of stands the test of time, and it hasn't really aged.
And here's the thing, though, about that rule. You said he created an iconic horror movie supervillain. He kept it very simple. He pretty much went to a Halloween shop, bought a Star Trek Captain Kirk mask, and spray painted it white.
It broke ground because, I'm guessing other horror movies delved into the supernatural, and in this movie it was just some dude with a mask, and it kind of played on people's fears back in the day. When that came out, like 78, 79, right around there. 76 even. It was the mid to late 70s, and it was something that was pretty much unseen before. Just like a regular guy could come stalking through your neighborhood and just lay waste to tons of people.
And then, in the spirit of keeping it simple, another movie that I really liked was this phenomenon, I guess in the same sense as Halloween, the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, another kind of groundbreaking film. It was the first found footage film, and it's kind of interesting that like I bet Halloween came out and then the slasher genre was born, but I think it took a while between Blair Witch and say like Paranormal Activity, which was like the next quote unquote like found footage film, that there was such a long gap between those two kinds of movies that, Blair Witch was so iconic and so interesting, such a like a massive hit in pop culture, and then nobody kind of tried to replicate it or do anything with it except for Book of Shadows, which is arguably better than the first movie.
People were really disappointed with Book of Shadows, and you can kind of say
I've never met them.
That movie killed the franchise. Nothing happened afterwards.
Jeffrey Donovan and other people, come on.
And keeping up with the spirit, it's funny, these movies that I like to watch on Halloween kept it simple. The Killer in Halloween, simple, mask, spray painted white. Blair Witch Project, you never saw anything. It was just a bunch of trees, a camera, really low budget, and it just created this whole thing where people were trying to do their little knockoff movies with their video cameras. It wasn't to the extent of what followed after Paranormal Activity, the whole found footage genre, but it was a phenomenon. People thought it was real, and then they got really disappointed when they found out that they were just actors. People actually started calling Burkittsville, Maryland Sheriff's Station to help with the search of the missing students. And when the Blair Witch Project came out, I remember the studio rushed it really quickly. I don't think it was Lionsgate. I know Lionsgate ended up buying it. They ended up rushing it really quickly to get it on VHS in time for Halloween. So they had already the box office sales, which the movie came out in July 14th of 1999. And then it was in theaters for a while. It was a phenomenon and everything. And then right before Halloween, I remember seeing a lot of ads on TV. It's like, oh, get the scariest movie of the year on video. And that's what I did. As soon as it came out on VHS, bought it, and it's something that I watched on Halloween.
Well, just see if I can pick your memory a little. Was it still in theaters at the time? Because, might as well double dip in that sense. If it only just came out in July, own it on home video and still see it in theaters or whatever.
No, I think by then it was already taken out of theaters.
Kind of weird considering how much of a massive hit it was.
Yeah, they were, like you said, trying to rush that double dip and squeeze as much money out. I think when a movie comes out on video, it gets its second win, because first it shows up in theaters and it has its opening day box office performance, and then it gradually starts to decline at the box office. Then when the movie's released on video, it has again that opening release.
Yeah, but like when Titanic came out, it was like in theaters for like 10 months and it was still like in the top whatevers on the box office chart. So Blair Witch was such a huge hit, and it came out not too far away from Halloween, but distant way enough that like it could have been taken out of theaters. It would make sense to just leave it in theaters for the Halloween season.
That's true.
Or you have a bad memory and you're just bullshitting me. I don't know.
No, I remember that it was a very exciting time, and movies just didn't stay around that long. Now it's kind of iffy as far as how movies stay. Movies have to have like something special to be able to stay in the movie theaters. For example, Black Panther, which came out in February, and then after Avengers Infinity War came out, people were talking about how it got a big bump at the movies, so people can see that back-to-back connection from Avengers Infinity War and Black Panther. And I think both movies were in the top 10. Obviously Avengers Infinity War was in first place, and I think Black Panther that week or the following week was in 6th place or 5th.
But you digress. What other horror movies can we talk about that isn't Avengers?
Okay, so going back to what you said about Halloween, I was doing some research, and it came out in 1978, so late 70s. And then another fun Halloween movie, or now what's fun to watch during Halloween, it's Paranormal Activity, the first one.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking about it, and I just realized, so the Saw movies were big around Halloween, and the Paranormal Activity movies were big, and they were kind of like big staples, like every year around Halloween, it's like, oh, here's the new this, and here's the new that. And I guess like those movies have kind of gone away. They were pretty big hits. And then I guess anything tied to a Blumhouse is kind of the new trend in horror movies. It's like, oh, here's another Blumhouse. It doesn't have to be good or interesting or anything. It just has the Blumhouse name. There you go. But just, we've gone from franchises to just a production company's name.
Which is pretty much like the ads say, going back to what you said about Saw, that if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. And then when Paranormal Activity came out, I remember it just blew Saw completely out of people's minds. Now everybody was like, oh, if it's Halloween, you have to watch Paranormal Activity. And these three movies are the movies that I feel that I enjoy watching on Halloween. It's Halloween, The Blair Witch Project, and now it's Paranormal Activity. And I wonder if there's any movie that you enjoy watching on Halloween.
I'm not a huge, horror movie person. There's some interesting stuff. I mean, like, kind of rewatching like the old Romero movies, or even like the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I have fun watching. The Frighteners is a personal favorite of mine. Michael J. Fox and Ghosts, and Gary Busey's son.
And then here's one that now I have to add to my list of Halloween movies to watch. It's the It remake.
Yeah, I was just so kind of tying back to what's the the trend in what's the trend in Halloween movies this year? Just to think about, it's kind of the remake. So last year it was It, and this year it's the remake of Halloween. So, and there's a trailer for Pet Cemetery that'll probably come out after Halloween, but like there's a resurgence in horror movie remakes, kind of more modernized takes on old classics or maybe older movies that weren't as good or as as popular back then, and trying to modernize them for modern audiences.
And if it's done right, you get something incredible like It. Because I know studios try to make these PG-13 movies to get more people and more butts in the seats, like Venom, PG-13. And then the argument is always, if you have a movie with a good story, it doesn't matter what the rating is, it will bring butts in the seats. For example, It, rated R, did very well. Deadpool, rated R, did very well. So you can make a rated R movie as long as it has a good story, and people will go watch it.
I just need to have the kids say fuck a lot and have a scary clown. I'm Hollywood producer, man.
Or just, let those creative people do the creative part. The business
no,
people...
they want money. I want a $10,000 movie, make $100 million. I work in Blumhouse.
That's your really good imitation of Blumhouse. And then if there's anything else you want to talk about as far as Halloween, I'm ready to move on to TV shows.
Go for it.
So I was trying to think about memorable TV shows or TV shows that I like to watch during Halloween. A couple that came in mind. I've never seen the Rosanna Halloween episode, but I hear people on YouTube talk about how it's one of the greatest pieces of TV entertainment. It's the Roseanne Halloween episode.
OD'd on opiates.
Then there's the Home Improvement Halloween episodes. And then here's my favorite that I watch, and it's in my mind because the show is still going, longest running TV show, The Simpsons Halloween Special.
Yeah, that's definitely a staple in many people's childhoods or whatever. Just every November, the first November in every Sunday is to watch the Simpsons Halloween specials.
And what I liked about the earlier seasons, I haven't been keeping up with the later seasons, but what I've liked about the earlier seasons was that they took the scariest movies, classic movies, and then they added humor to it. So it was kind of like, you have America's Funniest Family in cult classic horror movie situations like Amityville. Or I think there was one similar to Hellraiser.
Yeah, I think that might have been a newer one. But yeah, they had Amity. They did, what else? They did like Bram Stoker's Dracula. They did, there was another one that just slipped they did The Shining. They've done a whole bunch of horror movies. It's interesting because I kind of blame modern Simpsons for like relying too heavily on like pop culture references without really realizing how much of classic Simpsons episodes were influenced by like older pop culture, and like some of the best and most classic episodes are based on like the older Treehouse of Horror movie episodes are based on older horror movies, like the Omega Man. That one's a good one where Homer's like the last man on Earth. There's like a ton of fantastic, like some of the best episodes are the Treehouse of Horror until you get to like season 15, and then it all turns to dog shit.
Like you said, it's a lot of pop culture reference, which I think the culture has changed, where the earlier episodes of The Simpsons, you had these really smart guys that were actually students or graduates from Harvard University, just the smartest guys, but they didn't take stuff seriously. They knew how to be smart and funny at the same time.
Yeah, there was, better nods to the genre of horror than just, hey, look, we did the thing like the thing did.
And then now you just have the new generation that's like, oh, I like the silliness and the pop culture reference from earlier Simpsons, and just completely forgot how to mix the smart and the humor together, that blend.
Yeah, but I'm guessing even like modern Treehouse of Horror episodes are probably better than the regular stuff, just because the writers get to be more creative and, step outside the boundaries of what the regular episode writing has to entail.
It takes Simpsons to a different dimension, which was also a really good episode when Homer ends up in a different dimension where it's all cubes.
And that was based off of like a Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, yes. which was a smart blend of pop culture reference and humor.
Oh yeah, and just multiple Treehouse of Horrors are also based off of Twilight Zone, like the one with the gremlin.
So you take something that already exists that people like, and then you put a twist on it, and that's what a reboot should be. It's not taking something that already exists and making the same thing again, and just forgetting what gave it its little, that thing that you like, that je ne sais quoi. But now today it's just like, oh, let's take something that already existed and add more kills, more blood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then what about costumes? It's a Halloween tradition. I know you don't like to dress up. I love to dress up, but now that I'm transitioning from child to adult, now I have more responsibilities and less time.
40-year-old child to 41-year-old adult.
Hey, I'm a late bloomer, but it sucks that I can't dress up. What about people that are much older than me and dress up for Halloween parties?
Yeah, but like for them, it's like an exploration and creativity because, like, hey, get it? It's this thing that happened in the news, or like it's a pun.
Not really. More, it's like I'm going to a Halloween party.
No, because you're not creative or interesting, so you just grab whatever you saw on the Target shelf. Some people that put a little bit of effort into it.
But that's the difference. I mean, your friends are probably intellectuals, and my friends are mouth breathers.
Yeah, you belong to the dregs of society. Look at me, I'm Spider-Man, and he's Iron Man.
And what are you supposed to be?
I'm the skull that upon which Macbeth speaks to from whatever. I never read Shakespeare.
And
Look,
then
I'm the fern from where the red fern grows.
So, what are your thoughts on dressing up? Would you dress up?
I'm too lazy and a non-creative. I know that there's creative types that look at an artistry into costume creation, like, look, I did a thing or I made it. I'm tangentially along the lines of cosplay, I guess, or whatever. People like, I made this thing just so I could, it's good for a larf, even though it'll be a pain in the ass for the 6-hour party I'm gonna be stuck at when it's 4 a.m. and I'm half drunk out of my ass trying to squeeze into the Uber dressed like a fucking shower head.
Now here's my favorite part of Halloween, and I think everybody's. It's the candy.
The treats.
What's your favorite candy or your treat?
Everybody agrees that Reese's Peanut Butter Cups is the best candy in the world, hands down.
Oh man,
no contest.
You read my mind. I love that. I love Reese's peanut butters.
Get the fuck out of here with that Kit Kat shit. It's just a dry ass cookie covered in chocolate. Weak ass chocolate.
What about Butterfingers?
Yeah, I can take them or leave them. They're in the upper echelon, I suppose. I don't think they have a chance of dethroning the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
That's true.
But I wouldn't kick them out of bed.
The only reason I have Butterfinger candies is because of the Simpsons ads, but I just hate the taste.
I mean, the worst part of them is them getting stuck in your teeth.
No, we're talking about candy here, but you didn't mention M&Ms.
That's garbage candy. That's Village People candy.
I think this is the first time ever we've agreed. Reese's Pieces Peanut Butter Cups, the best candy.
Not Reese's Pieces, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Oh, that's what I meant to say. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
No, you're one of the peons that agrees that M&Ms are good, and then you put peanut butter in them. Really bad.
Now we got other Halloween traditions. I mean, the movies, the TV shows, costumes, candy. That's all popular stuff. Now we got everything else. Where do you want to start with?
I don't know. This is your fucking podcast, not me. You asked me to come here.
We forgot.
I didn't want to be here.
We forgot, which means it's like the furthest from our mind. Halloween decorations.
Okay.
I like those houses that actually put the effort. You got the one house with the really big tree, so they say, hey, let me hang a witch from the tree.
Yeah, remember, hey, you see those door hangers where it looks like the witch crashed into the door? That's some fucking funny shit, man. It looks like the witch crashed into the door. And then you see like her butt's hanging out because she like the broom like crashed into the door. That's fucking funny, man. It's like, how'd that witch get in there? Oh, she's stuck in the door, man. It's fucking hilarious. Shit, man. Fucking witch.
No, I was talking about the guy that
Huh?
he buys the witch doll and he buys a rope and then he ties the rope around the witch's neck and hangs her from his tree.
Oh, that's not as funny.
But it
Or
is
like, if the witch looks like she crashed into the fucking tree, and then like the broomstick's coming out the other side of the tree, that shit's fucking funny, man. Shit.
What about when they put headstones on their lawn?
You know what's scary, man? Like when the hand's coming out, cause I'm like, this motherfucker, he buried like a fucking like body in his fucking yard, man. That shit's scary.
And the body's taking its sweet time to come out.
Like fucking zombies and shit, like the body's coming out. That shit's fucking scary, bro.
All right. So you're walking down the street, you see a house, it's got the headstones in the lawn with the hands sticking out of it. Do you continue on with your day or do you wait until that body finally comes out?
No, I'm not touching that shit, man. Get away from there. I'm going home. I'm eating my Reese's peanut butter cups, man. I went to Save On the other day. I bought my like fucking jumbo pack of fucking Reese's butter cups, and I just eat that shit. I ain't leaving the house. No fucking zombie's gonna take me.
But you don't want to just sit there and see what comes out, what it looks like?
No, I ain't staying for that shit. Like, so it's always fun to see. No, serious me now. Like when because you see it like on America's Funniest Videos or whatever, like, oh, here the dad dressed up like a scarecrow and hid, and like that shit's funny for a while, then everybody does it, and then eventually like the guy dressed up as the scarecrow scares too many people, scares the wrong person, and then gets punched in the fucking face. And then the consolation prize, I'm taking the rest of this bowl of candy. Douche. That witch was funny.
Now, here's something that we need to talk about. This is totally a tradition that is completely lost, and I only remember because of a Nickelodeon TV show.
Cousin Skeeter?
No, no, you're sitting around a campfire telling scary stories.
That's scary.
What happened to that tradition? Is that something you want to bring back?
No, nobody wants to go outside in the cold and you out of your goddamn mind.
I would love to do that.
You know why there's so many fires these days? Because dumbass kids playing Are You Afraid of the Dark in the woods.
I thought it was because
and the scary story sucks because the kid's like, I don't know any stories. I'm going to look one up on fucking Creepypasta. Oh, there's no cell reception. Oh, I'm going to light this whole forest on fire. That shit's scary, bro. No, thank you.
Last one out gets a prize.
This is the story of the retarded teenager who doesn't pay attention to Smokey the Bear and caused $18 million in fire damage.
So you do not want to bring back campfire stories. You're against it completely.
I dropped the blunt and I don't know where it went, guys. Oh, shit. It's on fire.
What about Halloween parties?
What about them?
Is that something you would want to do?
Sure, it's just, you put like a shitty movie on the background, you get shit-faced. Ooh, look, there's dry ice in the punch bowl, and it looks like monster blood.
Because the whole thing with me about Halloween parties, it's, oh my God, you got to go dress up, and you got to show
Didn't you
up.
just say you like dressing up?
I do, but
aren't you like turning around on you're shitting on your own point here, friendo?
No, because
My favorite part of Halloween is dressing up. I wish I could dress up all the time, man. I fucking hate Halloween parties because they make you dress up and shit. Fuck that shit, man.
No, because when I dress up, I like to do it on my own terms, not on somebody else giving me a deadline and telling me what time to show up dressed up.
Hey, if it's my God-given right to dress up on April 30th, okay? It's what I want to do. Just because it's October 27th doesn't mean I ain't got to do shit for you, buddy.
And then the one thing I hate about the Halloween parties is that people miss out.
What do you mean I can't dress up as Frankenstein on Valentine's Day?
The thing that people...
I'm an American, damn it.
The thing that people miss is before Halloween parties were about, oh, let's tell scary stories. Let's play with the Ouija board. Hey, guys, my creative carpenter brother, he took the garage and turned it into a spook house. And now today it's just about parties, the music, dancing, drinking, and then all those.
I guess it depends on the crew you run with, because like a more interesting, more fun version of the Halloween party is, hey, me and my friends are gonna watch some scary movies, get shit faced, and then like just make fun of these how shitty old horror movies were. Versus, hey, we're just gonna lazily slap on some costume that we found at the Walmart I just bought this wolf mask. More shots, please. Oh, you're playing Monster Mash? How original.
Now, what about
It's
reading?
not even Labor Day.
What about reading a scary book or a scary story on
No,
Halloween?
readings for nerds. No, thank you.
I mean, you got
I live in a visual medium world now. It's 2018, my friend. People don't read books anymore.
Stephen King.
Does like the book read for me? Does it read it to me?
Audibles.
Because I'm not reading the book.
Audibles. Go to Audibles, and the book reads you or reads for you.
There you go.
This would have been a great plug for Audibles.
Yeah, but if like 2.5 people and 1.5 of those people are listening to this thing, then I don't think Audible is going to sponsor this.
Now, here's something I completely forgot about that are other books until the movies came out. Goosebumps.
Ugh. I just got to chill.
What do you think about reading Goosebumps?
I mean, when I'm 10, sure, that shit's awesome. But, I'm lazy now. I'll watch the shitty Canadian. It was Canadian, I think, too. Because, like Ryan Gosling and like Hayden Christensen were like in those like shows back in like season 1 or 2 or whatever. And boy, those shows don't hold up. But hey, if you're into nostalgia, go watch Goosebumps on Netflix.
But I'm talking about reading the Goosebump book.
Yeah, but no, we just clarified nobody reads anymore.
All right, now here's something. This
Get
is
out
going
of
to
this.
take us way back to elementary school,
Maybe you.
which is
I got held back.
reading scary stories to tell in the dark by Alvin Schwartz. Now, it says by Alvin Schwartz, but actually in the book, in the first pages, he talks about how he collects a bunch of folklore.
Cool.
So I guess I wanted to end this podcast by reading a scary story.
Oh, are you going to read?
Yeah, I'm going to read.
Okay, let me take a piss.
But this is one of those stories that is...
I'll be back.
This is one of those stories that is... it's the very first page, the very first story. It's one of those overlooked stories. And... it's called The Big Toe. So this story begins. A boy was digging at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. He tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something. So he gave it a good hard jerk, and it came off the ground. Then he heard something groan and scamper away. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. "It looks nice and plump," she said. "I'll put it in the soup and we'll have it for supper." That night, his father carved the toe into 3 pieces. And they each had a piece. Then they did the dishes. And when it got dark, they went to bed. The boy fell asleep almost at once, but in the middle of the night, a sound awakened him. It was something out in the street. It was a voice, and it was calling to him, "Where's my toe?" It groaned. When the boy heard that, he got very scared. But he thought, "It doesn't know where I live. It will never find me." Then he heard the voice once more, only now it was closer. "Where's my toe?" It groaned. The boy pulled the blankets over his head and closed his eyes. "I'll go to sleep," he thought. "When I awake, it'll be completely gone." But soon he heard the back door open. And again he heard the voice. "Where's my toe?" It groaned. Then the boy heard footsteps move through the kitchen into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall. Then slowly they climbed the stairs. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were in the upstairs hall. Now they were outside the door. "Where's my toe?" the voice groaned. His door opened. Shaking with fear, he listened as the footsteps slowly moved through the dark towards his bed. Then they stopped. "Where's my toe?" the voice groaned. "You've got it!" Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to this podcast. That's the Platitude Era. This is our Halloween podcast. Thank you. You can watch or listen to our podcast on YouTube. You can listen to it on the Anchor app. By uploading the Anchor app. You can also listen to it on Spotify. And, you can reach us on the social medias. We are on Twitter as Platitude Era. And thank you very much, everybody. We really enjoy doing these podcasts. So if you want to be the first to know when our podcast is up and you want to be able to listen, go to the YouTube's Platitude Era, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little cowbell because we can all use a little more cowbell. Needs more cowbell.